Good afternoon. More than 1,600 people are now known to have died in the earthquake in Myanmar, and that number is expected to rise as survivors dig with their bare hands through the rubble. Nearly 3,500 have been injured. The epicentre of the 7.7 magnitude quake was near the second largest city, Mandalay. Despite the disaster, the Burmese military has continued to bomb rebel positions in villages within the affected areas. 800 miles away in Bangkok, the rescue teams are searching through the rubble of an unfinished skyscraper which collapsed within seconds yesterday. Around 50 construction workers are still missing. 15 of them are thought to be still alive. Our correspondent Shaima Khalil is in the Thai capital, Bangkok.
That's right. Rescue operations are continuing through yet another night here in Thailand and in Myanmar, where rescue workers are hoping to find people alive. In Mandalay, the city closest to Myanmar's epicenter of the earthquake, 90 people are believed to still be trapped under the rubble of one apartment building. But we have gotten reports that one woman was pulled out alive by rescue workers after being trapped for 30 hours. No such luck for teams here in Bangkok, who tell us they're not going to give up. More from my colleague, Nick Marsh.
Mandalay is in ruins. Eyewitnesses have told the BBC that most of the buildings in Myanmar's second city have collapsed. After braving the aftershocks that came overnight, survivors searched for their friends and family who still lay under the rubble. Myanmar's leader has made a rare appeal for international assistance, but the ruling military junta is still trying to keep an iron grip on information coming out of the country. It's unlikely that electricity and running water or any proper communications will fully resume anytime soon.
We are dealing with a catastrophe. The needs are immense. The ability to respond is going to be extraordinarily challenging. It's notable that the authorities have already requested international support. That's come perhaps faster than we expected. It's welcomed, but it's now about whether or not we are able to respond as an international community to the extent of this disaster.
Here in Bangkok, rescue workers are still scouring the site of a half-finished skyscraper that crumbled yesterday. As part of the rescue operation, Thailand's brought in foreign help.
I think it's going well. We're just trying to bring as many resources as we can to help out our allied partner.
These troops are from the US Special Airborne Division.
Any hopes for finding survivors?
Sorry?
Any hopes for finding survivors?
I hope so, yeah. This is an important time right now.
The families of the missing are an ever-present here. They haven't given up hope that their loved ones will be found. Neither has the Thai government.
Do you still have hope to find survivors?
We always have hope. We work tirelessly, and we still working around the clock to make sure that everybody is safe.
But as the heavy machinery rolls in, the clock is ticking.
These rescuers still haven't given up hope of finding survivors, but they appear to be losing the race against time. The pain here is raw, and this is very much the epicenter of Thailand's grief.
The geographic epicenter of this tragedy may be 800 miles away, but for the people here, the reverberations of this disaster are no less agonizing.
Well, it's almost midnight here in Bangkok, and the area around the collapse site is still a hive of activity. Heavy machinery at the site behind me is still wading carefully through the rubble. Robots and carefully trained dogs have also been brought in to help with the search operation. Rescuers tell us that they did detect signs of life, but getting closer is the big challenge here because of the darkness, but also because big pieces of rubble are still dangerously unstable, which makes the search operation painfully slow. One official told us that this building buckled like pancake. Also behind me are family members who've been perching over the fence, looking, hoping to find out any news about their loved ones. I spoke to one mother and one aunt whose 17-year-old daughter was working at the site when it collapsed, and they haven't heard anything about her. The mother said, "I've been waiting for hours. I'll continue waiting until they find her." And the aunt says, even though this waiting is so painful, we're hoping for a miracle.
Good evening. More than 600 people have died and more than 3,000 are injured following a devastating earthquake in Myanmar, according to the country's ruling military. And those numbers seem certain to rise. As rescuers race against time to locate survivors, aid agencies say they are facing an extremely difficult response amid Myanmar's ongoing civil war. Here, the king said today he was most dreadfully shocked and saddened as he sent condolences to those affected by the disaster. Our Asia correspondent Debbie Edward reports from neighbouring Thailand, where the quake has also taken lives.
They keep shouting into the remains of the Wisdom Villa High School, asking if anyone is there, but no response comes back. It's thought at least 7 people were in the building when the earthquake struck. All over Myanmar, there are frantic searches taking place for survivors. In Mandalay, close to the epicenter, rescuers search through the wreckage of this apartment building by hand. Several teams have come to help this search. So far, they've recovered more bodies than survivors. Without specialist equipment, it is difficult to free victims trapped between the layers of debris.
It doesn't seem like there's a building that's not affected in some way, but obviously to see this and that there are some other buildings that are also like this is just hideous.
The 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit on Friday lunchtime and was felt across the region. This was a maternity ward in southern China, where a nurse held on to the baby in her arms for dear life as she was tossed around on the ground by the powerful tremors. In Bangkok, the focus of the aftermath centres on a skyscraper under construction that collapsed. The families of the dozens still trapped inside have gathered at the site. Just seeing it was distressing for this family. Fa has been trying to call her boyfriend, who was working on the 28th floor. She says his phone was ringing yesterday, but now it doesn't connect. As the search enters its second night, rescuers are still hopeful of finding people alive.
The building stood at 34 stories high, and in the space of just 3 seconds, it was reduced to a 7-story pile of rubble. We've been told that in several places the concrete hadn't set yet, and that will have contributed to its complete collapse.
So many families are tonight sharing the same agonizing weight that this man is facing for news of his mother. Debbie Edward, ITV News, Bangkok.